What up, YouTube? Rich the Return Rider coming to you here from High Springs, Florida. Coming to you here from my daughter's house here, guys. And on the way from Gainesville, like to stop in, kind of check on her yard and make sure everything looks okay here. That's all good, man. For all you folks that's here for the first time, thanks for tuning in. For all you folks that's return viewers, I appreciate you coming back. For all that subscribe to the channel, guys, I appreciate the support. For you folks that haven't yet subscribed, guys, it takes nothing off you to hit that subscribe button so we can continue to bring you some of this content. So today, guys, like I said, man, out for some throttle therapy, bringing you guys along with us here on Ruby. Ruby and I welcome you here for a trip back to Lake City hopefully before it starts to rain. And we're going to cover a topic there. You know, I was recently watching, you know what, folks? And we're going to start this video out with a U-turn. Yeah, baby. And a little bit of emergency braking here. Just to get acclimated to the controls. Like to start my video out like that. Now, of course, I've done that already this morning. But yeah, folks, come on, let's talk about it. Watching one of my favorite content creators there do a video, he's going to remain nameless at this time, and it says, time to get rid of the Honda Goldwing. And I was a little alarmed when I saw that, like, wow, he's selling the Honda Goldwing, what is he getting? But it was posed more in a question than it was a statement. And you know, it caught me it caught my attention there, because one of his buddies, another content creator that I often watched from the New York area, his name was GB Winging It, and I got interested in his videos as he made quite a bit of entertaining videos when he first had his Honda Goldwing DCT Tour. I think it was a 2018. All right, baby, let's flex the muscle here a little bit with Ruby. Guys, what you're listening to there on some throttle therapy is the Shark Road exhaust for the Generation 6 Honda Goldwing. Tell me what you think about them, guys. But anyway, I digress. So yes, I saw that title there, and I saw one of my favorite content creators, GB Winging It, convert over from his Honda Goldwing to adventure bikes, and I started losing interest a little bit there in his content. And I saw recently that he got rid of the adventure bike and picked up a BMW Sports Touring motorcycle. I said, wow, here's another one that's leaving the Honda Goldwing community. But he did explain in his video his concerns and the things that he thought about. And no, he's not getting rid of the Honda Goldwing, because he still acknowledged that it's the greatest touring motorcycle out there. But he did have some complaints, and his complaints came along the lines of from 2018 to 2025, there's not a lot of changes that have been made in the Honda Goldwing. Hang on to the end of the video, and I'm going to tell you what I think about that. Or as I go through the video, I'm going to tell you what I think about that. So his concerns was they haven't given us enough colors. They haven't changed, or they fell behind in technology. And you know, he had some legit concerns on what he thought should have been some changes presented to this Honda Goldwing, and the fact that it's been falling behind in technology. And he questioned, is Honda taking us for granted that we're going to buy this motorcycle anyway? You know, I remember there was a time in 2024 where we were concerned about whether we were going to receive that 2025 50th anniversary Honda Goldwing. And as they delayed that, the production of that bike, at least us here in the US, we were concerned of whether we were getting a 2025 Honda Goldwing. And when that motorcycle finally arrived, there was lots of complaints. Some of his complaints, they didn't offer us enough colors. They got rid of the navigation system, which a lot of folks seem to really opt for their own navigation systems And you know, I was a little disappointed that the navigation system on this motorcycle doesn't work as good as it should. From the get-go, from me owning this motorcycle for a little over 4.5 years ago. So let's cover a little bit of this topic, man. Are you, as you can see from the title there, disappointed with the 2025 Honda Goldwing? You know, a lot of us have done this video in many forms, but I gotta tell you folks, you know, I always say that Honda, and a lot of us know, was trying to target a younger generation with this design of motorcycle. Slimmed down, 90-something pounds lighter, more aerodynamic. And we feel like the idea was to target, I believe the idea was to target a younger generation. I don't think they've been successful at doing that, but they have been able to get some of the Harley folks to at least take a look at this motorcycle, at least take a ride on these motorcycles, see what makes the Honda Goldwing a Honda Goldwing, that they can now relate to the fact of, man, this motorcycle is phenomenal. There's nothing as smooth and delivers the power in the way that it does, a touring motorcycle, I should say. And also making the motorcycle, now guys, I realize my indicator canceling mechanism seemed to not be working. I wonder where that is from, or where do I start diagnosing that? You know, and as I talk about that, man, it's a perfect segue to saying, hey, you know what, a lot of these manufacturers are relying on other companies to provide some of the technology that they're providing, and a lot of these might not be up to the standards of some of the manufacturers of these motorcycles. You know, I've seen Harley Davidson and Indian and a lot of these other competitors with all of the technology on them. Indian blind spot detection, you know, rear end detection, touchscreen navigation. Guys, that's a lot of technology on a motorcycle. When I tell someone that's not familiar with motorcycles, the technologies that's on these motorcycles, they're like, wow, on a motorcycle? Now, I believe, again, that Honda was targeting the younger generation. A guy coming off a sports bike, I'm going to be all over the place in this video, guys. I apologize for it. But a guy coming off a sports bike now, looking for a new motorcycle because he feels he's getting old enough that it's time to get something more comfortable, is now forced to look at the Honda Goldwing, especially the bagger, because $24,000, starting at $24,000, is a big difference than starting at $34,000. Now, we know for us folks that want the touring pack and so forth, we're willing to pay that $30,000 or the $32,000 or whatever the Honda Goldwing comes in at. And I think Honda is still focusing on the reliability of the drivetrain of this motorcycle more than anything else. One of the things that I did mention in the comment section is, you know, I always say the magic happens in the comment section, is that I don't think Honda is prioritizing motorcycles. They probably want to keep this brand going, so they're keeping it as minimal as possible. They want to keep the motorcycle reliable. I'm pretty sure they were pretty disappointed that that drive bolt gear was failing, because part of their MO is to have a drivetrain that's bulletproof. And I'm sure they spent quite a bit of money on those recalls. But I've also heard some of the other manufacturers out there talking about, or folks talking about, some of the failures that they're having with some of the technologies in the other brands. Now, I did a video recently where I talked about coming from Daytona, test riding the Indians and the and the Harley Davidsons. Fascinating, guys. But I was sitting on a $52,000 motorcycle that didn't have heated seats, didn't have heated grips, didn't have reverse, didn't even have a tour pack. Now, for the average youngster that's coming off of a sports bike, that motorcycle is out of the price range. When I asked, what would I be paying a month for that motorcycle, it was over $1,000 a month. More than any car note or truck note that I have had to this point. Are we disappointed, guys, with the 2025 Honda Goldwing that's still offering you heated seats, heated grips, touring comfort. None more comfortable than that touring, the power and performance of an 1833cc motorcycle. Reliably taking you across country. Again, in comfort, guys, starting at $32,000. DCT, who else offers that? Guys, very popular in this motorcycle is the DCT, the automatic version. You know, why I say Honda probably is not prioritizing the motorcycle, guys, is when I look at some of my lawnmowers, generators, pressure washers. A lot of these are Honda engines, Honda carburetors. To the likes of something like Formula One, IndyCar. We still have our Acuras and our SUVs, cars and SUVs out there that, you know, is Honda really prioritizing their motorcycle? And if they are, how willing are they to start accepting all this technology from other folks that they have no control over the quality that is being provided to this motorcycle? More problems, lots of updates. Hey, if that's what you want, folks, you're going to be paying a minimum of $50,000 for the Honda Goldwing. Now, as a guy that got back into riding 5 years ago and purchased the Suzuki Boulevard M109R, that thought that that was going to be my all-in-all motorcycle, I am now to the point where I rarely ride that motorcycle. As a matter of fact, as of this week, that motorcycle is going to be up for sale. I'm going to detail it. I'm going to get it as nice as I can get it, and just don't get out to ride the motorcycle. Can't think of a place, event, or time and place that I don't want to jump on the 2019 Honda Goldwing. I am absolutely fascinated with this motorcycle. I think the Generation 6 motorcycle is the greatest bike that I've been on in the world of test riding motorcycles. What do you guys think? Starting with the bagger at $24,000, $25,000. But guys, there are folks out there that's been telling us, Cruiseman Garage, Chris Caliente, a lot of the folks out there has been telling us, hey, this motorcycle has been the greatest motorcycle that's been out for years. These are long-time, decade riding motorcycle riders. And now we got the likes of some of the Harley Davidson guys that's jumping over and saying, hey, is this what I've been missing? Anyway, folks, tell me what you think, man, as I try to diagnose why my indicator is not canceling out. But all these years, guys, and they haven't changed the style of the Honda Goldwing to this point, it now allows other manufacturers and companies to develop more things for this motorcycle. You know, we know Kariak and Gold Strike and the Pathfinder and those places, those companies always been giving us lots of, but there's other companies now that's just offering us more things to make this motorcycle as customizable as the other companies are for manufactured motorcycles. You know, again, no criticism to this content creator that feels like Honda Goldwing is taking us for granted, but guys, I'm appreciative of Ruby here, the 2019 Honda Goldwing, and what it offers. And like I always say, guys, add protection to your motorcycle. In my case, I'm rocking the World Motop drop guards, the Sprint Sling. If nothing else, for safety, get in the parking lot, practice emergency braking and swerving. That's the one tool we should have in our toolbox to help keep us safe out there on these beastly machines. Do the advanced safety classes, guys. Parking lot drills. It's better that you drop your bike on the concourse or on the parking lot than to crash them out there on the streets. Rich out on Ruby, the 2019 Honda Goldwing, with some Shark Road exhaust, just to keep this bike humming the way I like to hear it sound. And I'm out. Thanks for watching.